Hi, I'm Rob and time for another Soulforge video. Let's pop into the Soulforge, tell you what I think is good and bad in there this week. But first of all, let's take a look at this weekly event troop, the Fdraon. Let's take a look. Fdraon from Glacial Peaks, 14 mana cost, explodes all freeze gems, then deals magic +3 damage to an enemy boosted by gems exploded. The boost ratio is only 1:1, so literally just one more damage added for each freeze gem destroyed or exploded. But yeah, the effect of that would be good because you automatically destroy the freeze gems, freezing the enemy, which is good, and you deal some damage at the same time, so not too shabby. Traits: inflict frozen when doing skull damage, immunity to frozen, and reduce damage from skulls by 25%. So not a bad set of traits either for this kind of level troop. But yeah, just the boost ratio was a little bit better, but still okay. But 5 out of 10 for that, not completely unusable. But as ever, if you've got the glory, get it all the way up to mythic level if you can. Always good to do so to get another troop at the highest level when you upgrade it. And I do like to pop into the resources and grab me some spoils of war every week. You can only get 10. May as well get them if you've got the excess glory, and never know what you might get from those event keys if you're still missing some troops from this kingdom. Right, let's pop into the Soulforge and see what is going on in there. Anyway, the other day I was attacked by a bunch of circus clowns while in a car park. I won though. I went straight for the juggler. Oh now. Right, let's take a look at the weapons first. Not going to go over all the weapons that are here all the time, like these ones here. They're in my Soulforge extra video, which will be in a link in the description below. And don't get Moonshard from here either. It is a new weapon for everyone today, but it is in the raid boss shop, and much better to get it from there because you'll want to do a few tiers anyway in the raid boss to help out your guild, and if not, why not? And you'll get it that way anyway, so much better to spend those gems getting it that way rather than spend your hard-earned diamonds as well as other resources here. But let's take a look at it. Explodes magic +1 blue gems, grants a random status effect to all Glacial Peak allies, then summon a Glacial Peaks troop. So a nice explodey summoning weapon. Do like these. In fact, that spell I think is identical to another Glacial Peaks weapon. Is it Ice? What's it? Ice Sapphire? Where is it? Must be here somewhere. I'm sure it's Glacial Peaks. Oh, there it is. Yeah, same kind of thing. Explodes magic +1 blue gems, status effect to Glacial Peak allies, and summons a Glacial Peaks troop. But uses green and red. Presume this one uses different colours. Otherwise, it'd be really weird if it didn't. Yeah, red and yellow. But obviously, we can compare the upgrades later as well, because it's not just doing the same kind of spell. It's how good the upgrades are, which can make or break a weapon sometimes. Not literally, we don't want a broken weapon. Anyway, Silent Knight does a damage to the last enemy and silences them. So that can be actually quite handy when that enemy is stealthy. If they're trying to be hidden and can't be targeted, still do damage to them and silence them at the same time. And the silence troop does not gain mana and can't cast spells. So even though it's a low level weapon, it certainly has its uses. And one of those low cost ones as well, at 75 diamonds. The good thing about them kind of weapons is you'll reach a point in the game pretty quickly where you need a certain amount of weapons from a certain kingdom fully upgraded to progress, and that is where these cheap weapons can certainly come in handy. So good chance to pick them up when they're half decent at the same time. Next we have Frost Staff, another cheapo 75 diamond weapon. Does damage to an enemy and deal double damage if there's an ice storm, and create an ice storm. So even if there wasn't an ice storm going when you cast this, there will be the next round. You can get to cast it fairly quickly, and you can do double damage as well. So again, not too shabby, Sherlock. A lot of these things are really handy if you're a newer player sometimes and they're yet to get some of the main weapons. Glacial Crystal. Damage to an enemy boosted by Glacial Peak allies. Then create a mix of 6 blue and purple gems for each Glacial Peak ally. Uses green and yellow, so make sure you've got a couple of troops in your team at least that use blue and purple from Glacial Peaks to make the most of all that juicy mana, because it can create a heck of a lot of mana if you've got that team fully equipped with Glacial Peak allies. Really good. Doomed Statue. Give magic +1 life to all allies, then a +2 per temporary level boost. Give 5 mana to all other allies. If the enemy has a doom, give 4 more mana. And give 2 magic to all allies for each yellow enemy. So I'm not a huge fan of these doomed weapons that actually do things like give life. I mean, they can be useful. There's going to be times when you've got a troop which does damage based on the life of your other troops or team, whatever, and it can be very useful that way. And the cool thing about this one is the upgrades are actually pretty decent. Enchanting, really good. Enchants itself, Doomed Light, drain 2 mana from yellow enemies. It's got a cleanse, and it's got Peaceful as well, which is going to silence the first enemy. So decent set of upgrades on that as well. It's not just all about the spell, but not essential though. Not essential. Another cheap weapon from Glacial Peaks. Remove all the blue gems. This is just 75 diamonds, this one as well. Deal magic +5, it looks like. Damage to an enemy boosted by gems removed. If the enemy is from Glacial Peaks, or if the battle is in Glacial Peaks, deal a double damage. So let's remove all blue gems with no effect. This is kind of the anti-Glacial Peaks weapon, if you like, you use when you're fighting a Glacial Peaks team, and it's going to give you a nice advantage. Arboreal Crystal. Do like this weapon. Really, really cool. Explode magic +1 green gems. Grant a random status effect to all elemental allies and summon an elemental. Some really good elementals in the game, so having the chance to summon one is pretty neat, but the upgrades are really good too. Particularly for tangling. When you cast this, you are going to entangle the top troop, making you safe from skull damage till they cleanse it off. So yeah, I really like the Arboreal Crystal. Ice Sapphire, we had a quick preview of this a minute ago. Explodes magic +1 blue gems. Grants a random status effect to all the Glacial Peak allies, then summons a Glacial Peaks troop. Pretty decent. Do like my explodey summoning weapons. Really handy. Just makes things awkward for the enemy sometimes, as well as safer for yourself. It's just always good to have a summon in certain teams. Wand of Stars is not in my Soulforge extra video because that was made before Wand of Stars came out. But if you've got the resources, just craft it. It is fantastic. Create 6 elemental stars and bless all allies. Or create 7 umbral stars and curse all enemies. A bless is like a super cleanse. You get cleansed and you get the effect of being impervious at the same time, which is cool. And the other side of it, the create 7 umbral stars and curse all enemies, kind of does the opposite. It makes impervious enemies like normal troops. Takes away the powers of impervious. So very, very good weapon indeed. Probably the best weapon still in the game, even though it can misfire sometimes and not get you the gem matches which you hoped for. But hey, if it was successful all the time, that would be kind of ridiculous. Right, so what else have we got? The Raven's Scepter. Create 6 gems, then convert all red gems to spirit gems. More useful than it sounds, this, and quite reliable on its casting because you can see clearly if you're going to get a match or not. It's kind of like similar to the way that Shegra's spell works. Shegra creates red gems and changes all red to skulls. This, if you convert all red gems to spirit gems, that's converting red to blue. So if you can already see you've got red in the blue alignment of 4 when you cast this, it doesn't matter where those create 6 red gems go, you're always going to get a match of 4 and get an extra turn, providing you're not frozen at the same time, and create an absolute bunch of blue gems, which is really cool because they're spirit gems, which means you're going to drain enemy from the mana at the same time. No, you can drain mana from the enemy. Did I just say drain enemy from the mana? Anyway, you drain mana from the enemy when you do this. Yes, you know what I meant. Ugh. Haven't even finished my first cup of tea yet today, so I'm not entirely with it. Let me have another sip. Hang on. Right. Yes, I feel better already. Sword of Ice. It's all well and good, but it doesn't shatter when you bash someone with it around the bonds. Deal magic +2 damage to an enemy, then create 7 blue gems. You can do damage, and if you get lucky with that blue, it'll charge up and do it again. So yeah, it's alright, is that? And another cheap weapon. How many cheap weapons are there from Glacial Peaks? Don't know, but it's a lot. Icebreaker. Combines well with the sword. What happens if you bash the Sword of Ice onto the Icebreaker? Dun dun dun. Anyway, deal magic +3 damage to the first 2 enemies boosted by Fey allies. So yeah, it's just basic damage with a boost. Not essential, and 14 mana cost is quite high for that. And that is it. So yeah, some whole bunch of nice cheap weapons in there today. pretty good. But Arboreal Crystal, do love that weapon. Do like it a lot. Right, let's take a look at the troops then, but always have a quick look through these summoning stones first, especially if you're a newer player. See if there's anybody there you've not got that's good. Always look out for the empowered troops. They're the ones that you really don't want to miss. Some of them are really good. Oh, we've got Mercy here, look. Really good. Gives life to the weakest ally, transforms purple to yellow, and cleanse all allies. This is absolutely fantastic, and you get a third trait. Starts battles with full mana. Really, really cool. Really good when you cleanse off your troops straight away, especially if you're starting entangled and stuff like that, and the conversion works at the same time. Very, very good indeed. Let's have a little look through. Nobody utterly essential from there. She's annoying though. Entangle an enemy and eliminate armor. It's just 6 mana cost. When she's on the other team, she can be just annoying because of that spell. But yeah, have a little look through. Anybody you've not got, have a little roll of the dice maybe and see if you get lucky. But let's start at the bottom and work our way up. Starting with the Mythics. First one we have is Flaming Oni. Not a bad way to start. Summon 3 random goblins. That's already annoying. If there's not much more annoying than goblin teams, it's a goblin which summons more goblins. And that's exactly what this does. Then explodes magic +1 green gems. Uses green itself, so can self-charge. And gains an extra turn. So this is a really good troop because it's a mana generator. It summons. It's got an extra turn. Starts a firestorm at the start, which is red, which is what it uses. And you can use it as a burn troop as well, converting red gems, 2 red gems, to burning gems when my turn begins. A really easy way to get the enemy burning. And you can then use this in teams that use Fireblade, that triple skull damage on burning enemies. Really good for that. Yeah, so pretty versatile is Flaming Only because you can stick it in a goblin team. Really good for that because if they don't take it out, you're going to summon goblins pretty much non-stop because in last place it will charge itself up really easy and just keep on doing it. You can use it as a mana generator. You can use it as a troop to just burn the enemy for that triple skull damage in Fireblade classes. And you can use it as just a supplementary troop. If you've got like a team, the first 3 of your troops are the bread and butter of the team, how it works kind of thing. This is a really good troop to pop into 4th place because, yeah, you get that non-stop set of summons. You can get the mana gen. And very, very useful indeed is Flaming Oni. Pan does a decent amount of damage to 3 random enemies and knocks them to the back. Do you like it? It's not quite as powerful as it used to be because Impervious used to be a really good thing, but Curse now is so easy to get. You can basically take away that Impervious really, really easily. And Totem of the Veil, all Wildfolk allies gain 1 life and magic when matching 4 or more gems. Still decent, but yeah, like I say, due to Curse being such an easy thing now, Impervious is not quite as useful as it used to be, but the damage is still decent. We have Stonehammer. This was one of the earliest mythics that I got. It wasn't great then. It's not great now. Best thing about it is probably Unbreakable. Reduced damage from skulls by 80%. Fortitude is alright. And Stoneheart is a bit rubbish. But stun and burn all enemies. Create a mix of 22 red and brown gems and gain magic based life. One of the best things about that is it's good for any level of player because you're going to create that mix of red and brown no matter what your player level. And obviously the stun can be useful versus certain teams, but yeah, not great for a mythic for me. Stonehammer. Ketras the Bull does splash damage to an enemy boosted by your attack, life and armor at a 2-to-1 ratio. So basically you add up your attack, life and armor, halve it, and that's what the boost is going to be. So what we got? We got 115, 106, call that 220, so 290 give or take. Half that, what's that? 145. So 185 splash damage. That sounds a lot, and it's not bad. But the trouble with Ketras is Ferocity, which is just a red using troop, and it is flipping absolutely awesome, and it's not mythic. And that does double skull damage versus red enemies, does double damage on its spell versus red enemies as well, gives +4 attack on all stats when matching 4 or more gems. And that's the issue because it makes it nearly as good, and to some people, better in some ways than this. So yeah, it's just alright. Obviously, Raging Bull can help it as well. Gain 2 attack, armor, and life when matching red gems, which is going to push up that damage. But yeah, the problem with Ketras the Bull is indeed its own a partner, if you like, ferocity being so good. But yeah, it's not appalling, but it's just, like I say, if you can use a Tauros Bull, you might as well just use something like a ferocity. It's going to be nearly as good, if not better. But you can chuck it in there, because obviously it uses different mana colours as well, where ferocity just uses red. And if you're denied red on the board, then you can't get charged up, where something like this uses half the amount of mana colours. Right, anyway, let's take a quick look at the legendaries. We've got first, we have King Avalorn. Don't usually say to craft legendaries because they're much easier to get from chests, where the mythics are just so much harder to get from chests. But this is almost essential, because there are a lot of really good elf teams out there, and this gives all elf allies a 50% start with mana, which is really, really good. And Wood Ancestry is good as well, being immune to Mana Drain, Silence, Fairy Fire, and Entangle. And it does damage to all enemies, which is always good, and it's boosted by Elf, Elemental, and Beast allies, and has a summon at the same time. So King Avalorn, really, really good. Do like King Avalorn. Use it in a lot of different elf teams. Ori. Destroy a row and column, gaining mana for the team, then dealing magic-based damage to all enemies, boosted by purple and yellow gems destroyed. Better than it sounds at, because the boost is ×2, which is alright. Gains 1 armor when an enemy casts a spell is a bit naff, because you don't really want the enemy casting spells. Impervious is good, but the same reason as the other people mentioned, Pan. Curse is so easy now to remove the effects of Impervious, but hey, it's better than nothing. And Conjurer's Starstorm at the start of my turn is really good as well. Starstorm, if I remember, it's purple and yellow, and its spell is boosted by purple and yellow, so it actually works really well in purple and yellow teams. It's worth it for that sometimes, if your other 3 troops want a lot of purple and yellow, just to get that purple and yellow absolutely non-stop. So really good for that. Who else we got? Zernabog. Cracky. Another almost essential legendary for me. This is there's a lot of good troops in here today overall. So reduce damage from skulls by 50% makes this viable in first place. But Conjure a Duststorm when my turn begins is brown. So if you want a just non-stop slew of brown, and it uses brown, this is just a fantastic troop, because then it just generates brown for fun as well, creating 10 brown gems, then exploding magic +1 gems. So really, really cool for generating mana really, really quickly. And in Construct, can have a 50% mana start, super easy as well. So another fantastic mana generator. And Volfire Hunter is the last one. Choose one. Deal magic-based true damage to an enemy boosted by blue gems, or deal magic-based splash damage to an enemy boosted by blue gems. Yeah, the traits, start battles with 25% mana. Reduce damage from skulls by 65% is decent, and gain 3 mana when matching 4 or more gems. Some people think that these choose one sometimes have a little bit of a strange option, because most of the time surely you're just going to want to do the true damage option. Why would you be doing normal damage? Even if it's splash damage, there's no point, surely. But where that second option comes in handy is when, by just pure chance, the way the game is gone, you can actually finish somebody off with that splash damage, the splash damage itself, where it does damage to the adjacent troops. If that finishes somebody off, then you can basically do extra damage to another troop at the same time, which is kind of useful in that way. But who gets my Mythic of the Week? Well, it's not going to be Stonehammer, that's for sure. Ketras the Bull's alright in certain teams. Pan is a does a decent amount of damage, but just for pure flexibility, I'm going to give it to Flaming Oni. Oops, don't want to craft another one, even though it is very good. Got 2 of them already. But yeah, the fact that it's a goblin makes it good, because it gets the extra turn. It's a summoner. It can explode loaded gems, getting mana for the team. You can put it in a team where it can just burn enemies really quickly, so you can benefit from that Fireblade, triple skull damage in those classes. So yeah, really, really good. So Flaming Oni gets my Mythic of the Week. I'll be back later on with my Raid Boss team and Underspire teams, so check out those later on. But thanks for watching this video. Bash the like and subscribe if you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.